The Women of Troy, Part 3, as translated by Don Taylor. Enter Andromache and her young son Astyanax, wheeled in on top of a baggage wagon loaded with spoils. Chorus. The son of Achilles will hang up Troy's plundered splendor as a trophy under some Pythian temple roof. Andromache. My Greek masters are only taking what's theirs. Hecuba. I! Andromache. Don't sing my victory song. Hecuba. Agony. Andromache. The agonies are all mine. Hecuba. O Zeus. Andromache. Hard learned to be suffered long. Hecuba. My children. Andromache. No longer grown old in tears. Hecuba. All our happiness, Troy, our city, gone. Andromache. Into misery. Hecuba. My children, my heroic sons. Andromache. All gone, all gone. Hecuba. What grief is like mine? Andromache. My suffering. Hecuba. The sobbing, the moans, Andromache, of our city. Hecuba. Ruined, smoke-blackened stone. Andromache. My husband, where are you? I need you now. Save me. Hecuba. You're calling for a dead man. My firstborn son is in Hades, and I am in misery. Andromache. Protect me now as you've always done. Hecuba. O my Priam, whom the Greeks barbarously killed. Andromache. Old man, great king, princely father, your sons were famous throughout the world. Hecuba. Let me sleep in the arms of death forever. Andromache. So bitter, these longings. Hecuba. Sharp pains now and sorrows unceasing. Andromache. For the city we have lost. Hecuba. And misery is ever increasing. Andromache. The gods always hated us. Their malice spared your son, so that his contemptible marriage should bring ruin to the citadel of Troy. Now in bloody pieces he's lying for the vultures in Pallas' temple. Our slavery is his doing. Hecuba. Troy, mother of us all. Andromache. Tears blind me, deserted, a ruin. Hecuba. This pitiful end. Andromache. The house my children were born in. Hecuba. I've lost my home, I've lost my children, everything. No grief can encompass what I feel, no funeral song. Flow tears for a city and family shattered past hoping. Only the dead shed no tears. They are beyond weeping. Chorus. Suffering people find some comfort in tears. To give voice to grief is a kind of pleasure. Andromache. O Hecuba, mother of the son who speared so many of these Greeks. Do you see what they are doing? Hecuba. I see what the gods are doing, making monuments of worthless men and demolishing the good. Andromache. We are loot, my son and I, soldiers' plunder, born royal and made slaves. The whole world's overturned. Hecuba. Necessity is logical and merciless. Cassandra has just been torn from my arms by force. Andromache. No more. I can't bear it. So some second Ajax flatters his masculinity by dragging off your daughter, but there's worse pain to come. Hecuba. Of course there is. There's no end to pain. The next horror will always be worse than the last. Andromache. She's dead. Your daughter, Polysena. Murdered at Achilles' tomb as a sacrifice to the dead. Hecuba. And it is. So that's what Talthybius meant. The truth is diplomatic evasion concealed. Andromache. I saw it with my own eyes. I got down from the cart, cut down the body, covered it with her dress. Hecuba. My poor child, ritually murdered, filthy sacrilege. Oh, my poor girl, butchered like an animal. Andromache. Anyway, she's dead, however it happened. And she's happier dead than I am living. Hecuba. No one is happier dead. The living at least have hope. To be dead is to be nothing. Andromache. Dear mother, listen. You are my mother too. Even though you didn't give me birth, listen and draw some comfort from what I'm saying. To be dead is the same as never to have been born, but to die is better than a life of agony, because the dead feel nothing and no pain can touch them anymore. Whereas someone whose life has been prosperous and lucky and is then overwhelmed by disasters knows what it's like to have been happy and is heartbroken to be excluded from that paradise. For your child, it's as though she had never seen the light of day. She's dead and knows nothing of her suffering now. It's different from me. Being Hector's wife, I aimed at the highest a woman could wish for, and I hit the mark. And now I've lost everything. Living with Hector, I made it my business to be the perfect wife, never wanted even to leave his house, because that's the certain way to compromise a woman's reputation, gave up all desire to go anywhere, and was joyfully fulfilled at home. And even at home, I admitted no fashionable gossip or women's chatter, but used my intelligence to improve my own mind, and was content with that. I lived quietly with my husband. My happiness was obvious whenever our eyes met. I knew what things were my prerogative and how to give in gracefully to his authority in all matters that were his. But my reputation as the ideal wife reached the Greek camp, and that ruined me. As soon as I was captured, Achilles' son asked for me as his wife, meaning his whore, to be slave in the very house of the man who murdered my husband. If I drive out the memory of my beloved Hector out of my mind and open the doors of my heart to the man who owns me now, I shall betray the love of the dead man, and mine to him. And if I refuse to allow this prince to touch me, I'll provoke the hatred of the man whose power is total over me and mine. They say one night in bed with a man will convince any woman and pleasure away her hatred. I spit in the face of any woman who forgets her dead husband to jump into bed with the next one. Dear God, not even a mare, uncoupled from her old yokefellow and stablemate, will pull in harness willingly. And animals are supposed to be inferior to men, with no power to reason or speak their thoughts. But you, Hector, my love, you had everything I dreamed of in a husband, in intelligence, good family, wealth, and courage, the greatest of men. You took me as a virgin from my father's house, and I gave you my body for the first time to you in our marriage bed. Now you are dead, and I am to be transported across the sea to Greece as a prisoner, to be yoked as a slave. And Polyxena, whom you groan and weep for, isn't her suffering far less than mine? You say everyone living has hope. What hope have I? I'm not stupid enough to delude myself with false expectations, pleasant though such comforting daydreams might be. Chorus. Your suffering is like mine. Your anguished words give voice to my deepest agonies and fears. Hecuba. I've never been on board ship in my life, but I've seen pictures of them and heard men talking. So I know that if the storm is not too violent and there's some chance of survival, the sailors will do everything they can to come through it, hanging on to the tiller, scrambling aloft to the sails, and bailing out the water for dear life. But if the waves run higher and towering rollers overwhelm them, they accept the inevitable and give themselves to the sea. And so do I too. The gods have drowned me in an ocean of misery. After so many sorrows and in such despair, words mean nothing. There's nothing left to say. But you, dear daughter, dry your eyes. No more grieving for Hector now. You must forget him. Even your tears can't help him now. My advice to you is to make much of your new master. Be pleasant, make yourself attractive to him. That way you will make everyone's captivity easier to bear and your own life more pleasant. With luck, you may bring up this grandson of mine to be the saviour of Troy. Sons of yours may return to the ruins of Ilium one day and build a new city from the ashes. But look, the next chapter is already beginning. The Greek minion is coming back, to tell us, no doubt, what the Greek council has finally decided to do with us all. Talthybius returns with the guards. Talthybius. Hector's wife, widow of the greatest of the Trojans, I ask you not to hate me. With the greatest reluctance I must tell you the news, the joint decision of the council of the Greeks and the two sons of Pelops. Andromache. What is it? That sounds like a prelude to disaster. Talthybius. This child, they have decided. I don't know how to say it. Andromache. No, don't take him away. We have different masters? Talthybius. No Greek will ever be his master. Andromache. How? Is he to be the last of the Trojans, left here? Talthybius. There is no decent way to say an indecent thing. Andromache. Thank you for your decency, but no more bad news. Talthybius. They mean to kill him. That's the worst. Now you know. Andromache. Oh my God, that sentence is worse than my marriage. Talthybius. Odysseus' speech carried the whole council. Andromache. I can't bear it. I can't. Talthybius. That the son of such a father must not be allowed to grow up. Andromache. May those arguments condemn his own son. Talthybius. And that he should be thrown from the battlements of Troy. This has to be, so please be sensible. Don't hang on to him like that, but bear this pain like the queen you are. There's nothing you can do. You're quite without any power to prevent it, so don't imagine otherwise. No one can help you. The city is in ruins, your husband dead. You are quite alone, and believe me, we are capable of dealing with a single woman if we have to. So don't make a fight of it, or kick, or struggle, or curse the Greeks. If you say anything to anger the army, your child may not be properly buried, and no tears be shed at his grave. But if you keep quiet and resign yourself to what must happen, they might allow you to bury your child decently, and treat you with more consideration. Andromache. My darling, my precious, too dangerous to live. Your enemies will kill you and leave your mother in misery. Your father's courage, that saved so many, is a death sentence for you. Everything that made him great for you proves fatal. God, when I came into Hector's palace on that unlucky wedding day and that unluckier wedding night, I thought I would conceive a son to rule over the whole of Asia, not a victim to be callously murdered, butchered by the Greeks. My dear little boy, are you crying too? Do you understand what's happening? Why else do you hang onto my hand like that and bury your timid face in the folds of my dress like a bird creeping under his mother's wing? There is no Hector rising from the grave with his spear in his hand coming to save you, nor any of your father's brothers, no army of Trojans. You must jump from that terrifying height, fall and break your neck, smash the breath in your mouth without pity from anyone. My sweet baby so tender in my arms, dearer than all the world to your mother, the softness of your breath, the baby smell of your skin, all for nothing. My labour pains when you were born, all for nothing when I gave you my breast and dressed you so tenderly in your baby clothes, all for nothing, all for nothing. Hold me tight now, hang on to me, for the last time. I gave you birth, put your arms around my shoulders and hang on to me hard and kiss me, my boy. You Greeks, you have dreamed up such cruelties even the barbarians would flinch at. Why are you killing this child? What has he done in his innocence? He's guilty of nothing. Helen, you daughter of Tyndareus, you are not Zeus's daughter. More fathers than one you had, and I know their names too. Destruction, first of all, and envy and murder and death and every evil thing that crawls on the face of the earth. Zeus could never have fathered you to bring ruin and slaughter on Greeks and barbarians alike by thousands. Die in agony and be damned forever. You and your beautiful eyes, whose inviting looks have brought this famous country of Phrygia to complete destruction. Come on then, take him, carry him away. Throw him down from the walls if that's what your generals have decided, and then make a banquet of his dead body. The gods are destroying us all. I can't save my own child from death. Parcel up my disgraced body and throw it on board ship. It's a fine wedding I'm sailing to, with my poor son left dead at my back. Chorus. Poor Troy, 10,000 men are dead. For one woman and her hated marriage bed. Talthybius, come on, boy, you must break that embrace now, in spite of your mother's agony, and climb the walls to the highest bluff that crowns ancestral Troy. At that place, according to the vote of the army committee, you must give up your life. Take him then, someone tough and unthinking they need for this job, without pity and no scruples. I'm not half hard enough. Hecuba, poor child, son of my dead son, to tear you like that from your mother and from me is wicked. How can I suffer this and learn to bear it? What can be done to help you now enduring this? We can only beat our breasts in anguish, tear our hair, and that's all we can do. Our city is gone, and soon you will be gone too. There is no agony we don't already feel, no abyss of pain to discover. Andromache is dragged out by the guards one way, as Astyanax is taken the other. Chorus. From the sea-fringed shore of Salamis, the island of beehives that faces the sacred slopes, where the first bough of the blue-grey olive was unveiled by Pallas, ancestor of the groves that sit like a wreath of honour on the shining brow of Athens, came Telamon, Salamis' founder, across the waves of the Aegean to destroy the ancient city of Troy, with the archer Heracles in the distant past when Greece first came to Ilium to bring it to the dust. The flower of Hellas he led in his rage for the immortal horses of Zeus, first promised, then denied. In the calm shallows of Simois they rested their sea-going oars, cast hawsers to make fast the sterns, while Heracles' mighty arm took the bow from his ship and killed Laomedon, and with flashes of fire like a whirlwind shattered and burned the very stones of Apollo's city. Once in the past, and now again, Greek arms have brought Dardanus' city to the dust. O Ganymede, son of Laomedon, as you step so delicately among the golden wine cups, pouring the vintage for Zeus, enjoying a favourite's privileges, what use are you to your city, as it rages and flames and the Greeks bring carnage to the land of your birth? Is that the cry of seagulls screaming for their young on the seashore? No. Women of Troy, wives for their husbands screaming, for their dead sons, daughters weeping desperately for mothers too old to live slaves for long. Your pools of freshwater swimming, the trackway where you always loved to go running, all obliterated now. While you were reclining serene in your youthful beauty by the throne of Zeus, the Greeks were destroying Troy's people and Priam's city. Love, consuming love, once came to the palace of Dardanus, Laomedon's home. The gods themselves were trembling with the excitement of it, and Troy seems promised an immortal destiny at the Olympian wedding of Tithonus with Aurora, goddess of the dawn. No further reproach will pass my lips against Zeus or his doing. What's done is done. But the pure light of morning that cheers everyone saw destruction dawn on our city, saw our citadels collapse, and yet Aurora herself had a Trojan husband in her bed, was breeding children by him after abducting him in her four-horse chariot to enjoy her love among the stars. For us, vain dreaming, false hopes, the gods hate Troy.